Welcome back, agents. This is the KGB show. I'm Caden.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Blake. And before we get started, everybody, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and be sure to join us on Patreon, where for only $8 a month, you can receive early access to our content, among other perks. You can also become a channel member right here on YouTube. Apologies for the long hiatus this time. And you know what? We didn't backlog any content for you guys either. We've been gone for about 3 weeks now. We all went for a little trip to hang out with our families over Christmas time. And we apologize for the lack of content, but we're back and we're better than ever. And we've got a great video for you guys right here. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, very black pilling stuff. The past few weeks, for me at least, have been a major black pill, especially culminating in the fact that I'm extremely sick right now. And I've got brain fog, my throat hurts and all this stuff. But we're talking about a whole bunch of things. And I'm wearing this special hat because a very special friend named Jeff Younger gave it to me. And that's the topic of this video. But how are you guys doing?
Doing well. Glad to be back. It's nice sitting in this seat again. You know, my director's chair. I don't know if people can even tell that I'm sitting in a director's chair, but I am. It's nice.
To add to all the black pills, we also promised content over that hiatus, and we didn't deliver.
We're certainly not the only people in the political e-boy sphere who, you know, make promises that they can't keep. Well, you know, we started our hiatus with a trip to Phoenix, Arizona. At least me and Caden did. Gabe stayed back at home, where we went to the Turning Point USA event, and we just saw the way this event was ran and how these people, old friends of ours actually, were operating and how they were acting. And we're going to get into it more later, but this video overall is just about the utter state of the conservative movement. And our personal friend Jeff Younger just faced a massive loss in his own personal life, and we're going to talk about it because it is entirely the result of the incompetence of the conservative movement at large. And me and Gabe were talking about this during like a 12 a.m. Taco Bell run, but we were black-pilled, and we were like, you know, all the best people that we know are just going through tremendous turmoil.
Yeah.
And all the worst people that we know, the grifters, the neocons, the gays, the groomers, the Democrats, they're all just thriving right now. Yeah. And it's really upsetting. The whole world just feels like it's upside down.
Yeah. I mean, it really is kind of like that. They're very successful in this very earthly way, you know, like they're for the earth. Truly, they're not, you know, looking for anything further than their lives here, right? And all the people that are looking forward, they're going through the worst lives ever, you know, like just going through the worst shit that I've ever seen. You know, more people as well that you guys don't know that aren't like in front of the camera anywhere, just people behind the scenes that are having like terrible times right now too. So
just immense troubles. And those characters, those bad actors who are solely in it, Gabe, you made a really good point, solely in it for the money, solely in it for the fame, you know, they're thriving, they're grifting hard, and they're doing big things for their own personal lives. But anyways, for those of you who watch the show for a very long time, you know of our relationship with Mr. Jeff Younger. You're probably very familiar with his story, but we'll run it down for you real quick. For about 8 years now, Jeff Younger's ex-wife, Ann Georgelis, who's a pediatrician here in the DFW area of Texas, has been trying to transition Jeff's, at the time, 2-year-old son, James, to become a girl. And there's been lengthy court battles, divorce cases, all sorts of things. And as of now, new update, Jeff's ex-wife has been granted total custody. Jeff has 0 custody, and she now has the ability to move out of state to California or Oregon or wherever will allow, you know, permanent gender mutilation procedures on children. Also allowed to change the kids' names, and Jeff can have no contact with them ever again. This was ruled by the Supreme Court of the state of Texas. Just keep that in mind. You know, this is all happening in Texas, one of the most conservative states in the union. And yeah, it's a travesty.
The worst part about it, like you said, is the fact that she doesn't have to disclose anything.
Yeah.
So, like, he will never, even when the kids, the little boys, when they grow up, they're going to be 20, 30 years old, he's not going to be able to find them.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to have different names.
Yeah.
We can hope that once they turn 18, they will seek him out.
Yeah,
but the brainwashing of a mother can be very effective from the age of 2 years old.
Mothers, and obviously this isn't all mothers, but a lot of mothers that go through divorces end up conditioning these children to resent their dads completely, even though they were the ones in the wrong, even if they were the ones that, cheated on them in the marriage or whatever. They did whatever it was, whatever the reason for the divorce. A lot of the times mothers do that and take away the children's right to a father, which is exactly
real. I mean, these boys, since they were 2 years old, were told that their father hates them.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way that they would seek.
One of them is a girl.
Yeah, what?
Woe to any man! Woe to any man who faces a woman in the American justice system. And this is something. This is something that Jeff talks about a lot. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree with him on this point, but I 100% understand and am sympathetic to this point. He says that under the current laws, under the current rules in the United States society, men should not get married and men should not have kids. Now, obviously, we love the Bible, we love God, and he says to be fruitful and multiply. We want everybody to have successful, prosperous, large families. However, I do totally understand that in the age of no-fault divorce, where a woman can leave you and take everything you own, just based on, emotional swings, or whatever. She can take your children, she can molest them, she can groom them sexually right in front of your eyes. And I think about this a lot when it comes to Jeff's case. The fact that, he sits in a courtroom and he has to be told exactly what they are doing to his son. Putting him in dresses, having him have long hair, putting makeup on him. He's not allowed to talk, even when they did have sort of joint custody, or at least Jeff was allowed visitations. He wasn't allowed to talk about, religion with his son. He wasn't allowed to talk about a possible future. But he sits there and he has to witness all the horrendous things, all the sexual grooming, and he can't do anything about it. That's the biggest thing, is that, if he gets angry, that is then used against him. Mm-hmm. He is painted as a monster and as an aggressor and as an authoritarian type father figure.
I mean, even him doing nothing, not even lashing out, him doing nothing is seen as abandoning his child, as, mistreating his children. Mm-hmm. And, you see, with people at UNT when we were back there, this was a couple months ago, you guys go back to that video, people at UNT were saying, oh my goodness, you're a terrible father, you abandoned your child, but you also don't pay child support. Where's that money going to? It's money that would be going towards mutilating his son, right? Obviously, he's not going to participate.
He did pay child support. Let's just clarify that. Yeah, he did pay child support. Texas messed up and had a third of child support payments not go through 1 month.
The way that they frame this against Jeff is, they allow him visitations, but as I stated, he's not allowed to talk about religion. He can't change his son out of a dress. He has to refer to his son as a girl. Has to refer to him by the name Luna, which is a dog's name, by the way. And he says, no, I'm not going along with this. I'm not going to lie to my kid. I'm not going to abuse my kid. I'm not going to engage in the molestation of my own child. And then when he doesn't do that, that is, abandonment. That is them saying, oh, well, you're abandoning your son. Therefore, we're just going to grant full custody to Ann Georgiless, psycho bitch. Yeah, so big problems. Yeah, big problems.
Now, the overarching connection, because again, like Blake said earlier, we're trying to show you guys the other state of the conservative movement right now. Where were all these people that are talking about it now, right? Mm-hmm. We've been talking about it forever, but this isn't to put us on any pedestal, all right? This is to put Jeff on a pedestal and show him to the world. All these conservatives have only been making videos recently, forgot about him for 2-3 years, even put him down, tried to shit on him last year when he was running for office, when they could have done something, but then all of a sudden once he loses and then he loses children, oh, let's talk about this case because it'll get us a ton of clicks and views, And
this was...
It's bullshit.
This was exactly the case, because you've all probably heard about his story from years ago. All the mainstream pundits were talking about it, but when the time came to actually help him, he was running for the Texas State House. We all worked for him in his run for the Texas State House. We were his entire campaign staff, and we reached out to people. We tried. We got him some interviews with some people, but overall, the biggest pundits who really could have helped specifically, and I hate to do this because I love his work, but Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, this past year, he was named Transphobe of the Year, and he tweets about it, and he's so happy to be called Transphobe of the Year. He did a lot of good stuff against the grooming movement in 2022. He had the movie, What is a Woman? He had a march in Tennessee, but he never mentioned Jeff. He did not. Why? Why? This is the biggest, most high-profile case of a man who is having his all of his parental rights stripped from him because his ex-wife is trying to trans his kid. Now, granted, Matt Walsh did review the video that we took at UNT, but beyond that, not much else. Didn't talk about his campaign, and even in the months leading up to this recent court ruling where Jeff loses his kids entirely, he wasn't talking about it. Now, of course, after the fact, when we can't help him, people start talking about it again.
Yeah.
And I'm not calling malintent on anyone. I'm just saying this is the reality of what happened.
Well, they don't want to win. They want to lose.
Real.
No conservative in the mainstream wants to win. They would lose their jobs.
Turning Point USA, they had invited a certain person from Turning Point USA had invited Jeff on their show and then rescinded the invitation based on him being too homophobic. This is what happened during the campaign. Rescinded the invitation entirely.
And I was actually about to say their name because this person also associates very heavily with Matt Walsh, right? Doesn't mind speaking on a stage with them, but also on top of that, did reach out to Jeff after it was literally so over and, apologized and said sorry and made a couple of retweets here and there, but now, doesn't talk about it anymore, right? Is on to the next big thing. Yeah. So this really shows you, the good and bad actors in the movement,
Truly, just some people, just total ignorance, and then some people, with the Turning Point situation, malice against his ideas.
Look, you never know, where people's hearts really, truly are at, and who knows, maybe these people, forgot about it, had memory hold it because of whatever reason. Maybe it's not malintent and only remembered about it now and then, started pushing it out, started talking about it. It's great that people are talking about it now, but why weren't they talking about it earlier?
Real, absolutely. And I guess this is a good time to get into what we saw happen during the race. And again, we've made videos about this, but we just want to, refresh everybody's memories to the reality of what we're dealing with the conservative establishment in this country. But Texas, the Texas Republican establishment in the Texas State House, the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, the Speaker of the House, Dade Phelan in Texas, they spent millions of dollars preventing Jeff from winning this seat. And they spread horrendous lies about him, lies that originated from Ann Georgelis, the very woman who's trying to trans this now 10-year-old boy. They took the lies that she made up about him during their court case and spread it around the district to paint this man as a liar, as a fraud, as an immoral person. And again, their only source was a psycho who believes that men can be women and vice versa.
Yeah, there's no way that we could have won. It's a Texas House seat. Like you said, millions of dollars. They spent more than 10 times what we spent.
Yeah, well, we were outspent. Our campaign was outspent.
There's just no way to win. The average voter, like we said, is kind of retarded, okay?
This is
they
entirely
take
real.
Whoever's going to show up at their door first, and however many people, they get more flyers from a certain guy, that's who they're voting for. That's it.
A lot of people do first person that shows up at my door, and that could work in our favor, but if we didn't knock that neighborhood,
because it's literally only us, because that's all we can afford.
Yeah. And, knowing Jeff personally just makes the situation way worse because, I had been following this forever, since the story probably first broke news 5-6 years ago. And then I actually get to know the guy, and he's my boss, and he becomes a mentor and a friend. And he was just at our house a couple weeks ago.
Truly one of the greatest people.
Smartest,
a couple days ago.
Most intelligent, a fantastic father figure, and these kids are being robbed of that.
The fact that conservatives are titling Jeff anything but the best father, in America, right now. Think about, and I hate to get so gruesome right now and get so blackpilling. If that was happening to you, you would not be able to handle it. All right, you can't even don't even lie and say, oh, I'd be taking it like a champ. No, dude, your life would be ruined, and I could never do that. I literally could never do that. I don't know what I'd do with myself if that were happening to my two sons.
The things that I would do if I were in Jeff's situation cannot be stated on YouTube and would probably get me locked in an asylum or something.
Yeah.
But look, this guy, again, tremendous father figure. And think about what's happening. This guy, first of all, he was in the military, and they tried to lie about that too. They tried to frame him as a deserter or whatever, or even a draft dodger. Said all these horrible things, lied about his military record. This man served. his country, made a life for himself, regular guy. He had a job, he started a business, all this stuff. And this is how our country treats him. You fight for the country, and they treat you by ripping your son out of your hands and castrating him right in front of your eyes. This is what our nation has come to. And I have nothing but hatred for it. And I said this in a tweet. It doesn't sound very Christian of me to say, but this country, I'm not talking about people. Obviously, there are people who run this country, but this country and what it protrudes around the world and what it allows to happen, our leaders, what they allow to happen is just insanely evil, insanely satanic, and I have nothing but malice for it. And I love this country. I want it to succeed. I want it to return to how it used to be. But as it stands right now, I would not be upset if Russia pressed the button, ended the satanic empire.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that were making tons of lies, talking about how Jeff was a Russian Asian.
Oh, real.
You remember that? You remember, Jeff is like a Russian spy. No one trusts him.
People were saying
what?
Literally had to serve for in multiple branches in the military. Yeah. Literally served multiple branches in the U.S. military. Oh no, he's a Russian agent.
Yeah, and these are conservatives, by the way. These are Republican pundits, by the way, who are spreading these lies about Jeff. Now
Glenn Beck, left, by the way,
and this is how you know that Jeff is such a real. Oh man, I was gonna say something bad, but how do you know Jeff is a real one? The left despises this guy. Okay, I mean, no one drives the left more crazy in the state of Texas than Jeff Younger. Mm-hmm. Proof is in the UNT videos that we all filmed. I mean, they hate this guy, they attack this guy, they call him all the names. Everything they drive him, or
they try to hurt him.
They try to hurt him. He drives them crazy. You will never see any of the mainstream conservative pundits elicit that type of reaction.
Yeah, at least not anymore.
Not anymore.
When they were effective back in 2016, 2015, making their videos, people would get pissed because it was a very new thing.
Yeah.
But now they're they're washed, they're old, they say the same thing over and over.
Real.
Again. And kids on campuses are like, yeah, whatever, so-and-so's coming. He's a Nazi. But,
they're no threat.
Yeah, exactly.
They're no threat. The mainstream conservative organizations are no threat to anything that the left wants to get done. And if anything, they assist them in everything that they want to get done. Because while Jeff Younger is fighting the battle of his life, Turning Point USA is hosting Gays Against Groomers at their event. They're bending the knee to political correctness and homosexuals, even transgender people. They're ran by... The whole organization is ran by literally liberal women. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine the amount of money. And I've actually heard this from sources that I can't disclose. But I know that Turning Point hires liberal women to, basically cyberstalk right-wing e-boys and the people who are too far right.
That's literally true. So obviously me and Blake were blacklisted.
Yeah.
There were other people that don't post on social media that we know that were also blacklisted. They have people infiltrating circles. All right, so check your friend group.
Yeah, I suppose we'll get back into the Jeff story soon. But I want to talk about what happened at America Fest because me and Caden attended. Now look, we attended. We tried to attend. I had a press badge lined up through a good friend of mine. I had a press badge. All right, I was technically working for a company. All right, so I go and I pick up my press badge. Within 30 minutes, this big dude and this woman approach me, and they say, "You're not allowed to be here. You have to leave. And if you come back, we will trespass you. We'll have you charged with trespass." So I did not come back. All right, I didn't want to get arrested. I didn't want to get charged with anything. But this is what happens, And I'm not. This is something that I want to stress is the fact that they do have these nameless, faceless internet people banned. Somehow they know who they are. But I'm not an internet troll. I'm not some weird dude. I've never caused any uproar at any of these events, any disruptions, none of that.
We've gone to these for years.
Yeah, right? Gone to them for years. I am a political campaign worker. I am a podcast host. I infiltrate LGBTQ events aimed at children, and I expose them. I confront left-wing politicians to their faces in public. I'm not some weird troll. I'm a pretty good actor, I'd say, in the conservative movement, but this is how they treat people. I mean, and I'm not the only one.
It's because these people, they can't take criticism. That's what it is. Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's we criticize them. We, call out the bad things in the movement. Again, like we've said in videos before, we have friends that are in the company, right? We have friends that go to these events all the time. They're cool people. There's just a certain few that run like the specific sectors in Turning Point that despise us,
and they're all liberal. They're all liberal women and homosexuals.
Speaking of our friends, I had a couple of my friends that are, one of them's a spokesperson for Turning Point, and had him go with me to the booth to where you get your tickets, and he was like, "Get this man a ticket. Like, I don't know what's wrong," and then they had me wait there for like a half an hour. They're talking to people, and then some higher manager comes down and goes, "We can't disclose why you can't come in, but you can't come in."
Real.
And I was like,
"It's
all right, that's gay. Just give me an answer. What did I do? I didn't say I was never in the ambassador.
It's the entrenched bureaucracy. It's literally the deep state of Turning Point. The people, some of the people who are promoted, some of them really suck, but some of the people, like the faces of Turning Point, are really cool. But it's again the liberal women and the homosexuals and the donor class who runs the whole operation.
One of their spokespeople was literally let this guy in. They're like, no.
Yeah.
What?
Now what you did, I mean, look, we called them out. This is what we did. All right, they banned me, or they removed me from the ambassador program for being homophobic, and because this is a conservative organization that canceled someone for being homophobic, we called them out for it. Then they got really mad, okay? And this is how it works.
And the funniest part is you'd never call being homophobic a left-wing trait. That's not like a left-wing idea.
They don't ban leftists.
Exactly, right? They don't ban leftists.
Are the real homophobes.
Dude, let me actually tell y'all something. I ran into a certain person who to a man. I'm not going to say his name, but he hosts a popular left-wing show on YouTube. It's on Snapchat too. You've definitely seen this guy. If you have Snapchat, it's in the Discover feed. It's one of these left-wing political shows.
His face.
You will know this guy. He was there. He was at the event. I ran into him. I saw him. I recognized him immediately. I was like, dude, no way.
That was so funny.
Despite the fact that I don't like him and he's gay and he's a leftist, I watch his show because it's entertaining, and I was like, dude, no way. It was just so shocking. But they allow leftists in that event. They allow left-wing reporters in that event.
Do you mind if I ask who it is? Okay.
Yeah. Wow. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
I got a
insane.
picture with him.
Well, I mean, look, they've let in a lot of leftists before,
but,
so it's not. Yeah.
One positive from the event. We met some agents, very epic. Me and Blake were outside of the building smoking a cigar. And,
dude, who else did we meet? We met
a lot of agents.
We met the basketball player.
Danny Granger is a Jehovah's Witness standing on a street corner.
Dude, this was the craziest story.
2K12 legend, all right?
Yeah, we got to say this for the KGB agents. We were just walking around, and they have Jehovah's Witnesses all over the damn city. And one of them is this 6'9" black dude. And I'm like, dude, you're the tallest Jehovah's Witness I've ever seen. Yeah. And then Caden walks up, and he's like, you look just like Danny Granger. And he's like, yeah, I get that all the time. So we just walk away. And then...
I swear I swear that's Danny Granger. What other 6'9"?
Yeah, we Google what religion is Danny Granger, and it says Jehovah's Witness, and we're like, there's no way there are two Jehovah's Witnesses, 6'9", look exactly like Danny Granger. So we find him. We were running around. We're trying to find him again. We're like, you're actually Danny Granger. And he's like, yeah. And then we had a 45-minute conversation.
He didn't explain it. He didn't say. He didn't say, "Oh, I get that a lot," because I am. He just said, "Yeah, I get that a lot."
He claimed that he said he was, but we didn't hear it.
Yeah, there was. I did not hear that.
And before everyone in the comments is like, "Oh, Jehovah's Witness," we didn't talk to him about any of that. All right, we were just
super smart guy. Okay?
Super smart guy, and he might be a Jehovah's Witness, but his heart's in the right place. We didn't get into a theological battle with him. We just talked about, the state of America and all that. But
we were being very homophobic with him.
We were being
he was liking it. He was
dude. Because
he's a Turning Point hater now.
He was like, what's this event all about? And I'm like, because this was well after I'd already gotten thrown out of the event. I was like,
and before we knew it was Danny Granger.
He's like, what's Turning Point USA? I'm like, oh, it's a conservative organization that promotes homosexuality, sexual degeneracy, and alcoholism amongst teenagers.
He was not.
And he was like, what? And that was a little bit of an exaggeration, but only slightly an exaggeration when it comes to Turning Point. But
yeah. Now I want to get back into the Jeff stuff, but I do want to tie it with the Turning Point stuff because this was kind of brewing in my head for a little bit. You mentioned they invite like these Gays Against Groomers, all these people, right? But they refuse to, host Jeff on a show or something like that because he's too transphobic. I just think it's funny that even like these, gay people that have came out and said, hey, like I was, abused when I was a kid. That's why I'm like a homosexual. And I understand like the state of, my perpetual sin and that I'm always trying to get out of it. These people support Jeff. TERFs, they support Jeff. So it's like all these even leftist, types understand Jeff's situation and are cool with it and don't get offended by anything that Jeff says. But Turning Point says, no, I'm not going to allow Jeff there. I'm not going to allow people with the same ideology there because, he said some mean stuff about transgenders or whatever about gay people. Not to, excuse these people, but again, like I'm just saying, they support Jeff, So why wouldn't you let Jeff on your show?
I don't know. It's a mystery. But you want to know, I do want to say something, Gays Against Groomers doesn't exist. All right. That's fucking light bulbs against electricity or your which those two things are definitely getting bleeped. But no, you cannot have one without the other. This is literally the case. And look, I appreciate them, okay? I appreciate that you will have gay people who come out and say, oh, this is like a really bad thing. I don't like what's going on here. But one of the things that the Gays Against Groomers say is that the majority of gay people are against what's going on right now with children. This is not the case. If the majority of gay people were actually against it, it would not be happening. Think about this logically, okay? Look at the voter rolls. 50% of gay people vote Democrat. 22% vote Republican. And then the remainder are independents. But definitely left-wing independents. Yeah. This is happening for a reason, This isn't some random sporadic group of gays, like some dissident group of gays who are trying to groom children. Like, no, this is mainstream, okay? If you talk about banning drag shows for children, they call it homophobic because it's all the same thing. It's all within the same sphere. All right, so look, I appreciate the gay people, and I said this on a last video or on a previous video, because people think I hate gay people. Gay people who repent and turn to Christ are some of the most amazing people. All right, because I can only imagine it's got to be really difficult. Like I do truly believe that people can be attracted to the same sex. I don't believe that it's natural, but I believe that people can feel that way. All right,
yeah, I mean, we understand why it happens.
And if we know why it happens. Yeah. We know why these people feel this way, and it's because of groomers. But people who can get past that and repent and turn to Christ, they are amazing. They're incredible people.
You know what true hatred is?
Allowing people to continue down that path.
Do you think I want you to go to hell? Why would I be fighting this battle? I am trying to help you.
You, I'm trying to help you, motherfucker.
Like, yeah, I repent. Like, we don't want to see you in hell burning eternally with Satan, okay?
Yeah. There was this Instagram like reel that I saw, right? And it was this Christian creator, right? Like one of these people online, it just came up in my recommended, one of these people online that build their entire platform off of like, oh, I'm a Christian, go read your Bible, which to a large extent, I think it's good. There's also part of me that I'm like, is this like very disingenuous? Like you're using God to, create like earthly fame, whatever. I don't know. But this video was like, oh, what kind of Christian are you? It's like, do you hate gay people? Do you this? Do you that? Do you that? And the guy's like, no. Like, what kind of Christianity do you subscribe to? And then in the comments, there was this one huge paragraph talking about how, like, this is great. This is a great video because Christianity is all about loving people like Jesus did, right? And then this comment got 500 likes. It's probably still ramping up.
Such a black pill.
Under it, I commented and I said, this might be true, but it's very misleading. It's a very misleading comment because, yes, we are called to love people like Jesus Christ did. How did Jesus Christ love sinners? He hung out with them and told them that their sin was wrong. He told them to walk in his way, right? And not to walk perpetually in their sin forever. That's what Christ did, all right? Christ didn't say, hey, hookers, hey, drug addicts, whatever. Keep doing you. You're great. He didn't do that.
This is the biggest problem with Christianity today. Christianity is about repentance, not permittance. All right, and that's something that so few people can understand because so few people have an internal monologue and can really think about things that way. Anyways, I guess. Not much more to say except for the fact that, the conservative movement completely failed Jeff. Okay, what happened to Jeff and his children is a direct result of the conservative movement, and we need a complete overhaul, okay? America needs, I would say deserves because it fits, the quote I'm about to quote better, but America needs a new class of conservative leadership. Not deserves, we need it, or else we are going to completely fail. And this is not just in terms of, rhinos and all these, people, these elected officials who are bought out by whether it be corporations or foreign interests or Israel or whatever. This includes the pundits, all right? This includes the media, because the media has failed us entirely. And people say, they like to say all the time, say politics is downstream from culture, Andrew Breitbart, all that stuff. Well,
gay marriage never would have been legalized.
The cultural forces, even assuming that conclusion, which I sort of agree with, but I think the inverse is also possible. Even assuming that our cultural warriors, Turning Point USA, the conservative media, y'all are failing tremendously. We need a total upheaval, okay? Because it's no wonder when we really sit and think about this. In the past 50 years, conservative politicians, we have two major victories. We have Roe v. Wade, which is awesome. All right, don't get me wrong, that's fantastic. That's really great. And we have, the fall of the Berlin Wall. All right, and that's it. Everything else has been a victory for the left, the radical left.
I want to say this real quick. Notice the language that we use here, right? We and us. For all you selfish people out there, they're like, oh, yeah, it's sad what's happening to Jeff, but, I would never let that happen to my family. All right, it is an us thing, all right? We are one. It is us versus them. Hate to break it to you, right? A loss for Jeff is a loss for all of us.
Real.
All right.
And people talk about, oh, well, how smart can Jeff be when he found this woman and had kids with her?
How are you supposed to know?
They met on a Christian dating site. Okay, they met on a Christian dating site. This woman was at least identified as a Christian.
They went to church together.
Things happen. Things switch, all right? People suddenly become possessed by satanic forces, okay? And this does happen. And I'm not even being, parabolic there. This does happen.
Yeah, and I don't want to target women here, but it
always
seems
women.
To skew in a heavy
the devil
favor against men and for women.
Yeah, I have never...
it's... All these, recently, and I told the boys this actually, recently I've been on YouTube and I see these Reddit, Reddit threads, right? Mm-hmm. And so many of them are just men that are getting absolutely destroyed in their marriages because the women are just doing random stuff that are absolutely insane and that have been allowed and perpetuated by the media forever. But, they do stuff like and Georgialist or, cheat or whatever.
This is only women, okay? I've never heard a case, and someone can find it, and I will be proven wrong. Someone finds me a case of a man who gets a divorce with his wife, somehow attains custody of the children, and then goes and transitions one of the children against the wishes of the mother. Someone find me that case, because I guarantee you, there are hundreds. It's not just Jeff. Jeff is the most high-profile case of this situation, but it's happening all over the place.
There's thousands in the Dallas County Clinic alone, right?
True. This is happening all over the place. And I didn't mention earlier, but Dade Phelan and Greg Abbott, they accepted donations from gender clinics within Texas. No wonder they consistently voted against bills to prevent this exact situation happening to children. But again, and what Jeff said, Jeff's quote I brought up earlier, don't get married, don't have children. Again, I disagree. I think, hopefully I can find a woman. Hopefully I have found the woman who will not transition my children. Yeah. But I totally understand it, okay? We live in a country, no fault divorce. They can leave you at any point. They can do whatever they want to your children.
Leave you and take half of your stuff.
They can make up any sorts of lies about you, and it will be taken as fact by the family's court system, by the corrupted family court system. And this is a classic Ronald Reagan thing. He was the first governor in the country to legalize no-fault divorce in the state of California, and it just spread from there. I totally understand Jeff's reasoning because women, again, woe to any man facing a woman in the American justice system. There's nothing you can do. But
maybe someday we'll make a video on like women advice. I don't know how prepared we are for that, but
Patreon exclusive.
Patreon exclusive.
Something
how
that'll
to get
well, not necessarily like that, but how to
explained by a pimp.
Sift.
If you don't know, you do now.
Well, just how to like sift through and at least like the obvious outliers that you should out because some men don't. I mean, look, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
The amount of men.
Now, while we're swallowing black pills left and right, I do want to bring up 2 more stories that are a little bit more optimistic, bring a little bit more of a smile to my face, and they sort of connect with what's happening with Jeff and the conservative movement overall. We have, this is currently Wednesday, this is going to be uploaded on Friday, but we are watching Kevin McCarthy fail for the 6th time to attain the Speaker of the House title in the 118th Congress. And this is just fantastic, okay? Spearheaded by Matt Gaetz, thank you. I was drawing a blank. And of course, the woman from Colorado. Boy, again, I'm sorry, I'm sick. I'm like fuzzy-headed, but it's a woman from Colorado.
Lauren Boebert.
Spearheaded by them two and Rep. Gosar and all these people. And this is fantastic, okay? And this can go on for as long as we want it to. People can't be inaugurated until the Speaker of the House is chosen. But we cannot allow Kevin McCarthy to be reelected as Speaker, okay? First of all, everyone can see the picture. I'll put it up right now of McCarthy wearing, sort of Ukrainian wear. And of course, he's one of these many Republicans who support what's going on in Ukraine and support our nonstop aid to this foreign country that no one in America should be involved with. And Kevin McCarthy, besides even putting aside all the things about how, he is a globalist, putting aside how Kevin McCarthy failed Trump in so many different regards, just thinking pragmatically about how Trump left the White House, this was conservative Republican leadership's only opportunity to show what a post-Trump GOP would look like, and they failed tremendously.
Yeah.
Okay, with these 2022 midterms, it was a catastrophe. Why should we ever even consider reelecting the people who allowed this to happen? Even if Kevin McCarthy gets reelected, it is so fantastic to see, just even if it's a small minority in the Republican Party of elected officials who are standing against what's going on. And you have Kevin McCarthy. So first of all, what we're seeing right now, the rhetoric coming from all the controlled opposition and Fox News and Kevin McCarthy's, his whole swamp creature,
FTX runs deep
anomaly of media. We're seeing, these people, these dissidents, these Matt Gaetz types are trying to get a Democrat elected. They're going to get a Democrat elected, while simultaneously, Kevin McCarthy is working with Democrats to try and thwart. Like, who's really working with Democrats? Okay, we have Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell, who pre-2022 midterms didn't even have a plan for winning because they knew that we were going to lose. They knew this was going to happen. They had it planned because they were not going to allow America First politicians to win.
Yeah, there's that video of Matt Gaetz where he's like, I will vote for a Democrat before I vote for Kevin McCarthy.
And that is totally fine.
It's like, look.
It's that one guy in Arkansas won.
Homie wants to put accelerationism into practice and just, okay, Democrat. Let's see how the country goes,
Dude, it's not even accelerationism. I had this... Months ago, before the election, when I was debating with Kai about Herschel Walker, Okay, and we were talking about, oh no, you shouldn't vote for Herschel Walker. He's a bad. This was Kai's position. Shouldn't vote for Herschel Walker. He's a bad candidate. He's not fully America first. He's not fully on our side, and we might as well just have a Democrat because we can't keep electing these people just because they have an R next to their name. Now, the reason I disagreed with Kai is because I disagreed that Herschel Walker fit that criteria. I thought Herschel Walker was fine. Okay, he was a little retarded. He spoke pretty crazily. No different from the real
Herschel.
real, but I agree with Kai's premise that we should not vote for people just because they have an R next to their name. And I will take an enemy over a traitor because at least I can identify my enemy. Okay? And these people are not entitled to our votes when they are sending billions of dollars overseas to Ukraine. And I'm so happy to see this, a pretty substantial, while it is still a minority, it is a substantial portion of the Republican members of Congress who are standing against Kevin McCarthy. And you'll love to see it. And we're going to see how it pans out. Maybe by Friday the issue will be resolved. But as of right now, I'm enjoying the show.
We have a friend who worked for Kevin McCarthy.
We do have a friend.
Now there is the MTG black pill.
Man,
where,
dude.
You know, I can't talk about it on YouTube, but you know, she did what she did,
Sucks
and
for me,
that
especially
scandal.
'cause I'm from Georgia.
Yeah, that scandal came out, and now she's anti-Gates, anti-Bober, anti-Gosar.
Yeah.
The people who are like, you know, our guys as well, and MTG was one of them, but
Yeah, notice
ruined
that
your
the people,
chances.
just notice real quick that the people who stand against the establishment are always the ones who you hear the most dirt about, okay? Because those establishment swamp creatures, they have the means to keep their dirt hidden. They have the means to keep their corruption hidden. But the outsiders, the underdogs, they don't. And this is what happened with Jeff. This is exactly what happened with Jeff. Okay, they dug up everything they possibly could on him.
They dug up things that didn't even happen.
And it's always personal attacks. It always turns to personal attacks. Now, what's happening? What is happening to MTG is pretty much justified, okay? Because from what we can tell, she's pretty much a person.
Yeah.
But
again, one of those women, one of those mothers that are just like ruining the lives of their husbands and children.
You hear all these stories. And Caden, you say this all the time. You don't want a squeaky clean politician.
Never.
Because these people are built and bred to be swamp creatures. Okay, you want someone who's got a couple scars on their neck, on their knuckles, and scars on their knuckles, and some dirt in their boots. Okay, and you know all these squeaky clean little. They're the ones to look out for. Because they're not squeaky clean. They just have the power.
No one
and they
is
have the
squeaky
money.
clean. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
you know, and I can't believe I haven't heard like a politician ever say that. You know, whenever stuff comes out about them, like that would be the most base thing ever. If a politician that had like dirt come out about them that quite frankly wasn't that bad, but is getting them trashed like in polls or whatever, just be like. You want someone that's squeaky clean? You're voting for a rhino. You know, you're voting for a swamp creature that has covered up everything bad they've done. You've done something bad in your life. So have I. Sorry,
it's
like
the
we're
whole
human.
thing with like Trump, in 2016 and 2020, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's such a bad person." He said these. It's like I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, Gabe, what you said is perfect. Everyone has made mistakes. Understand that people who have made mistakes in their life and people who have learned from those mistakes and people who have gotten their hands dirty, those are the people who we need to be leading us. And I'll leave it at that. But I also want to talk about what's going on in Louisiana right now.
Yeah.
Major culture war victory. Louisiana has mandated government photo identification to access Pornhub and other porn sites. Incredible.
Major W.
Okay? This is one of the biggest W's that the conservative movement has ever seen.
Yeah, right? They said it wouldn't happen, all right? The libertarians, the neocons, the liberals, all right? It will never happen, all right? Porn is such an established thing in our country.
The libertarians
it's
are
like
seething,
that's
bro.
super sad. But
this is exactly the case. When we started talking about when the dissident right, when the conservative movement at large started talking about pornography and its evils, The mainstream people like, dude, what are you talking about? They would look at you like you were crazy because it was something that's just so normal and so entrenched, and it didn't seem political. But when you have people like John making a whole video about it, I remember on Republican Hype House, I made dozens of videos, dozens of TikToks about the dangers of porn. And you see it from non-political actors too. Just normal, these sorts of sort of masculine type accounts that are promoting masculinity, talking about how evil porn is.
Yeah.
And this is fantastic. And all the doubters who say that something like this couldn't happen, it just happened, okay? It is so easy, okay? People are like, all right, well, what's the solution? And we say, ban porn. People are like, you can never do that. You could so easily do that.
Yeah.
And Russia did it.
It's again with Turning Point, porn stars in their events.
Porn stars in the events. What's going on?
They tried to explain that one away. Still, name
porn star in a VIP lounge.
Like Google,
doesn't get taken out until there's mass uproar.
It's like Google exists, right? The reason they know, the reason that they would ban us from their events is, we Googled you and we watched like a video or whatever. Bro, Google her name. Like it's just there.
Yeah.
Like all the dirt is just there.
They don't get Googled. They pre-make their blacklist.
Real. Going on Twitter and seeing the reactions to Louisiana's new law. The most famous one right now is greetings from the surveillance state of Louisiana. And then they're complaining about how they need photo identification.
Yeah.
Think about this. This is not, this is a net positive, obviously, but this is not a total victory by any means, all right, because total victory is porn being banned. Yeah. This is a massive step in the right direction, and I cannot overstate that. But, all it is you need photo ID. It keeps porn out of the hands of children, which is fantastic, and that's really what we need most right now because most children are being exposed at the age of 9, and half of children even younger than that. So this is a fantastic win.
Yeah.
But just think about it. These people protesting, it's not just liberals, all right? It is the libertarians. It is the right-wing libertarians. It is the small government conservatives even who are saying, oh, this is awful. This is overstepping, all right? The left, they're going to take power and they're going to ban something that you like, and then you're not going to be happy.
Extra porn. They're going to government-mandated porn when they take power.
It's like libertarians want that anyway. It's like they just want more because they don't go out and they don't talk to women, or at least the majority of them don't. Like you'll see that one obscure libertarian that has some goth girlfriend and be like, bro, I got bitches. Like, where's your guys' girlfriend? It's like, dog, chill out. Like you're dating a 4. Nobody cares. If I wanted to go and date a 4, I could go date a 4. But it's the whole this will never happen. Happens in Russia, right? Mm-hmm. They ban it, and then it's like, oh, but you guys could never do it here. Louisiana.
We just did it.
So it's slowly but surely, we get enough cool people in power.
We'll never let them tell you that you can't do it, okay? That Trump speech, I don't know if y'all have heard this Trump speech where he gives a motivational speech. It's not really political. Have y'all heard Trump's motivational speech?
Some of them.
It's fantastic. I gotta listen to it again so I can quote it properly. But, again, the left is so angry and the libertarians are so angry. Why? Because kids can't access porn. Because children under 18 cannot access hardcore, oftentimes violent pornography, okay? Because guess what? Any adult can still access it, all right? Yeah. It's not off limits for any adult. You put in your government-issued ID, you get your porn, all right? Now, of course...
Still a bad thing.
Of course, they're going to say but black people have a harder time getting an ID, so they're not going to be able to watch porn as much. Sorry, sucks for black people, but listen...
Based for black people.
Yeah, based for black people. But they are mad because children cannot be exposed to this stuff. Just think about it, because that is what they want. That's their end goal. That is what they wanted from the very beginning. So just take that into consideration. But we're going to do this, all right? This is a major white pill, and it actually does get me optimistic for the future. The fact that something like that has been done in Louisiana, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
If only Texas could have the spine, the cojones, if only our leaders could have a little bit of...
Yeah, and really quickly before we end, this ties into the whole Jeff and all the transgender stuff and all the parenting stuff. That could all be totally mainstream things that people would vote for, people would instill in their, local governments. It would keep going, it would keep spreading. People just, choose to censor that, right? But I guess the porn thing is it's a lot, which is weird, right? It's really weird. But in the conservative... mainstream, porn is something that is talked about every once in a while.
Yeah.
more often than like transgender children, weirdly enough.
Of children,
like, yeah, literally mutilation of children. But still, like it's possible. You talk about it, you get enough people, you get enough elected officials behind your cause, you'll get it, you'll outlaw, you'll get it banned. So.
But the libertarians and the neocons, they don't want you to think that way, okay? They want you to think that these social issues are off limits, okay? That there's nothing you can do about them, all right? And do not listen to them. If
we let the people decide.
Real, all right? Because this is why they don't talk about it. This is why they stick to, low taxes, gun rights, epic. No. Once we actually get enough people riled up, we can fix all of these problems, all right? We just got to do a complete overhaul of conservative leadership. Yeah. We need a new class of conservative e-boy.
I almost wish that there was like 1 year of this libertarian anarchist type society, and in that 1 year, after that 1 year, I would like start a revolution. I'd just be like, hey, like you guys make it so much easier, honestly, like to start a revolution. If the society was your way, I would literally just, start a revolution against.
A government.
Yeah, I'd just institute a government. People would follow me because they're base.
It's sort of like it's like the paradox of communism, because you have communism. It's like, okay, well, you start with socialism, the state starts taking over industry. And then eventually, over time, we'll get to the utopia. It'll be communism, and we'll get rid of the state. It'll be an anarchist society, but everyone's going to share everything. But once it gets to an anarchist society, it reverts back to capitalism because people start trading with each other. Yeah. It literally just returns to normal. But then with libertarianism, it's like, okay, so we get rid of the government, everything returns to normal, but everyone has guns. Whoever can get the most people together and say, I want to instill a new government. Like, a government is going to get instituted anyway. You are never going to live in this total power vacuum of anarchism. Someone's going to step up, and other people are going to follow. Like,
real.
Sorry. No, that's basically it.
Well, I was going to say, and then like the opposition to that would be what? Like 30 to 40-year-old Mountain Dew drinking porn addicted fat guys that are somehow gonna fight the army of like the KGB friends and like rest of Chad agent types. No, literally no way. Like, how are you gonna do that? It's never gonna happen.
Yeah, good fucking luck. All right, well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Keep Jeff and keep James in your prayers. We will keep you updated on the situation. And we're back. We're gonna start our actual upload schedule again. Probably more live streams again.
Happy New Year's,
next
guys.
week. Yeah, Happy New Year's. Hope everybody had a great Christmas.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna make 2023 a great year. But thanks for watching.
These patrons.
Channel
members. I know we haven't recorded a video in a long time, so they haven't appeared on screen for a minute. But yeah, thank you guys very much.
So true.
Everybody, God bless. Have a great day.
I got the devil at my feet. He's so careful when he speak, but he convincing as he tell you by the bezel with the peace. And all these Jezebels, they wait for you to help them to your suite. They get you drunk, they get you high, cause they work better when you weak.